Today I want to talk about the cancellation of the game, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, I want to talk about the cancellation of the game, also known as Ohio State versus Michigan. This news is just coming out, and I'm going to read the release pushed out by the University of Michigan announcing the cancellation of this game. The University of Michigan Athletic Department announced Tuesday, December 8th, that an increasing number of positive COVID-19 cases and student athletes in quarantine over the past week will result in the cancellation of Saturday's scheduled game at Ohio State. This decision was made after conversations with medical experts, health department officials, and university administration was made with them, right? Quote, the number of positive tests has continued to trend in an upward direction over the last 7 days, said Ward Manuel, UM's Donald R. Shepard, Director of Athletics. We have not been cleared to participate in practice at this time. Unfortunately, we will not be able to field a team due to COVID-19 positives and the associated quarantining required of close contact individuals. This decision is disappointing for our team and coaches, but their health and safety is paramount, and it will always come first in our decision making, end quote. Michigan will continue daily testing with hopes of getting back on the practice field when cleared by medical professionals. The Big Ten will host its championship week of games on December 18th and 19th. This has wide-ranging implications. The first is we all miss out on Ohio State, Michigan, which I thought was going to be a game that was protected at all cost. And when the first schedule sort of kind of came out and I saw that Ohio State, Michigan was so far into the winter, I immediately said, why not put that game up front? That game means so much to everybody, from TV executives to lowly degenerates like myself who just want to watch Ohio State versus Michigan no matter what we think the outcome of the score was. Because there's this part of it where Michigan had an opportunity to pull off an outstanding upset, and there's precedent for that because 2007, Jim Harbaugh walked into LA Coliseum with Stanford as a 41-point underdog to the number 2 ranked Trojans and walked out with a win. We're also getting this news right before the college football playoff rankings, just hours, in fact, and I got to figure they're going to take this into account when they do their rankings. I think that Ohio State's probably going to stick at 4, if not move up to 3, after how they played against Michigan State and how undermanned they were in that game. 40-point margin of victory without 23 players and 4 full-time coaches, including your play caller and your head coach, is a remarkable feat for anybody, let alone Ohio State. There's also a lot of conversation that has already been done about how Maryland could take that spot for Ohio State versus Michigan if Michigan could not go. And quite frankly, that game has a bigger impact on the Big Ten and the Big Ten standings, and they're a better football team than Michigan. We also get to talk about Loxley versus Ryan Day once again, which I'm really interested in. And there's the whole Taulia Tagovailoa angle to it, as I think that Maryland team is on its way up and is going to be really good here in the coming years. We're also losing tradition, and I get that. I understand, man. There's a lot of people that have continued to set their watches by this game, and we're so used to it happening during that Thanksgiving weekend, and we didn't even really get to start the Big Ten season in full until just a few weeks before that. So there's more to say about that. But there's also a lot to say here about what the Big Ten chooses to do for the Big Ten title game. They had said a minimum of 6 games need to be played for you to qualify for the Big Ten championship. Now, if they get Maryland on the schedule, or we get Ohio State versus Indiana Part 2, or any number of things that people want to throw against the wall, I'm sure, then they'll get to those 6 games and it's moot. But if they don't get to those 6 games, you already need to put in motion the conversation about whether or not you're going to amend that to 5 games based on what some people are calling new information. I've made my opinion on this. My opinion is the same, but I'm also taking into account right? Not my opinion, but the opinion of the people that are making those decisions. And the opinion of the folks that have been making that decision is that we need to have the best possible teams in the Big Ten championship to, one, legitimize the championship, and two, give that team, Ohio State in this case, an opportunity to play for a college football playoff national championship, to raise the profile of the Big Ten Conference, but also to bring in more money to the Big Ten Conference in a year where everybody has been decimated with just the financial toll of the pandemic. But losing Ohio State and Michigan is probably going to be the headline piece to this season, right? It has shown us just how fragile this all is when everybody wants to be a part of this football game and make sure that this football game gets played between two of the biggest fan bases in all the countries. As a matter of fact, I think Jim Harbaugh has more followers on Twitter than any other FBS coach, period. Like, that's remarkable to me when you think about just how Harbaugh kind of comes off sometimes, which is cocky, but he's been cocky for good reason, except in this game. And this game was going to have so much to do with his legacy because, as I mentioned with the Stanford bit, if he's able to win that game, he gets to leave Michigan with a W. And if he wants to go into the NFL, do that, or come back next year and say, look, I beat the best team in the Big Ten. Also would kind of take the fizzle out of the Big Ten championship game. So there were some things that Michigan could do to absolutely throw a wrench in this. But I also think that your conspiracies in the last couple of weeks about them wanting to call this game off because they don't want to get beat is wrong. And I kind of want to walk that out because Harbaugh is one of the most competitive people on the face of the earth. At least he seems to think so. And he hates losing way more than he likes winning, which is every good football coach that I've ever met in my life. For those of y'all that have really looked forward to this game, my heart goes out to you. I'm going to have more to say about this, where I'm already thinking about ways to try to talk to you about what happens and see what happens with the rankings, because that's going to be the most interesting thing. But I don't think that Ohio State's playoff chances are at all diminished by losing this game. If anything, made it just a little bit simpler for the committee to be like, well, I guess we know what our fourth best team is, unless Florida beats Alabama, and then we probably got something else. Meanwhile, the Pac-12 is going to be looking around like, hey, we might have a shot. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.